I never thought I'd be the guy posting something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I've been with my wife, Lisa, for about 8 years now. We met in college, got married young, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. We weren't perfect, sure, but I trusted her and she seemed happy enough. She was a little bitchy sometimes, no denying that, but she was also funny and smart, and I loved her. Until I didn't. Things started feeling weird a few months ago, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. She'd be more distant, cancel plans without much explanation, and all of a sudden she was texting more than usual. I didn't suspect anything specific at first, just a gut feeling that something was off. Then, little things started adding up, her phone pinging at odd hours, her being more secretive about her social media accounts, and a strange, guarded attitude whenever I'd try to talk to her about us. One day I was at home, sitting in the living room, when I noticed her phone lying face down on the coffee table. That's not unusual, except I also saw a new contact saved. In her phone, name jarred with a little heart emoji next to it. I didn't think much of it at first, but something about the way she kept sneaking glances at her phone, locking it quickly, made my stomach tight. I didn't say anything at first, just kept my eye on her. A few nights later, we had family dinner with my sister, her husband, and our nephew, Ethan. Ethan's deaf, and he's been learning ASL for a while now. During dinner, Lisa was unusually chatty about her interest in learning sign language, said she wanted to connect more with Ethan, help him communicate better. I thought it was sweet at first, but then I noticed her leaning over, signing with someone across the room. I didn't pay too much attention initially, assuming she was just practicing her signs or chatting with a friend. But then I saw something that made my blood run cold. I caught her exchanging contacts with the sign language interpreter Ethan had hired for his graduation ceremony. Yeah, Ethan's graduation. I was proud of him, but the moment I saw her hand her phone to the interpreter, and they started signing in that intimate, secretive way, her lips moving, her hand gestures so close, so private, I knew that wasn't just about learning ASL. And the worst part, I looked closer and saw her whispering into her phone, and the interpreter, that guy, was signing back something explicit. I could see the signs clearly, and I swear to God, they were exchanging some pretty damn dirty messages. I didn't understand all of it at first, but the way they kept glancing around to make sure no one was watching, that told me everything. They had some secret code, some hidden language, and I was watching it all unfold right in front of me. I didn't say anything that night, but my mind was racing. My wife, Lisa, was blatantly cheating on me, and she was doing it right in front of my family with an interpreter I had paid to help my nephew communicate. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. How long had this been going on? Were they actually having sex, or was it just some kind of emotional affair? My mind kept circling back to that. What really got me was how she lied about her intentions. She kept telling me she just wanted to learn sign language for Ethan, that she loved him and wanted to help him. But I know her better than that. Lisa's always been a manipulative bitch. She's not above twisting things, lying to get her way, and now I was faced with the brutal truth. She was unfaithful, and she'd been sneaking around behind my back. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, thinking about everything. About her lies, about the girl I thought I knew, about the trust I'd lost. The following days, I watched her more closely, noticing small things: her phone disappearing, her being overly defensive when I asked about her activities, and the way she always seemed nervous around the phone. I knew I had to do something, but I wasn't sure what yet. All I knew was that my world was shattered, and I was furious. After I saw that damn sign language exchange at Ethan's graduation dinner, I knew I couldn't just brush it off. This wasn't some innocent mistake. She was cheating on me, plain and simple, and she was doing it right under my nose. For the next few days I kept silent, but inside I was boiling with anger and betrayal. I needed to find out just how deep this affair went, and I couldn't trust her anymore, not at face value. I started paying closer attention to her routines. Every time she left the house, I'd check her phone if I could get a chance. She was sneaky, but she wasn't perfect. She'd slip up sometimes, leave her phone unlocked when she was in the shower or while she was in the bathroom. I'd grab it, sneak a look, and what I found confirmed my suspicions. Messages, suggestive texts, and pictures. She was definitely hooking up with someone, and that someone was the interpreter, Jard. I remember my stomach twisting when I saw the messages she sent him, talking dirty, planning secret meetings. She kept denying everything, acting like I was crazy. "You're just paranoid," she'd say, with that bitchy tone of hers, dismissing my concerns like they were nothing. But I knew better. She'd been lying all along, and I was sick of her BS. One night, I decided I couldn't wait anymore. I set up a little camera to record her when she was out. I wanted to catch her in the act, see her real reaction, and have some hard evidence. I didn't want to confront her without proof. The next morning, I turned it on and left it running in the bedroom. When I came back that evening, I couldn't believe what I saw. There she was, slipping out her phone, sneaking into the living room. I played back the footage, and her face was full of guilt, nervous as hell. I saw her texting Jard again, signing some messages on her phone. And then I saw her walk into the bedroom, unzip her purse, and pull out a condom. That was the final straw. She was planning a secret rendezvous, and I had it all on tape. I felt numb, honestly. My hands were trembling. I couldn't believe I'd been so blind for so long. I knew I had to confront her, but I wasn't sure how to do it without losing my mind. When I finally called her into the living room and showed her the footage, her face went pale. She stammered, trying to lie her way out of it. "It's nothing, just some stupid joke," she said, her voice dripping with contempt. I looked at her, feeling a mix of rage and heartbreak. "Are you serious, Lisa? This isn't just some joke. You're fucking Jard, aren't you?" Her eyes flashed with anger. "You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. I don't owe you an explanation." That moment was like a punch to the gut. I realized how manipulative she was, how she could lie so easily. She's always been good at twisting things to her advantage. But I wasn't going to be fooled anymore. The trust was gone, shattered beyond repair. I felt stupid for so long, trying to pretend everything was okay, but now I knew the truth. I didn't say much after that. I just stared at her, filled with disgust. I wanted to scream, to break something, but I held it in. I knew this was only the beginning of what was going to happen next. I had to decide whether I was going to fight for the marriage or just cut my losses and walk away. But one thing was clear: this betrayal was a betrayal of everything I thought we had. And I wasn't going to let her get away with it, not without a fight. The next few days were the worst of my life. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and my mind kept circling around what I'd seen, what I'd uncovered. Every time I closed my eyes, I pictured Lisa with Jard, those secret signs, that sneaky smile, the way she betrayed me so easily. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I didn't see that she was already gone, emotionally and physically. I felt a mixture of rage and deep sadness. I kept replaying that footage, that terrible night, and I kept thinking about all the moments I'd defended her, trusted her, believed in us. She was supposed to be my wife, my partner, the person I'd built my life with. And now I saw her for what she really was: a dishonest, manipulative bitch who had been cheating on me with a guy I'd paid to help my nephew communicate. I decided I needed to confront her again, this time face to face. I called her at work and told her I needed to talk when she got home. Her tone was defensive, like she was already prepared for a fight. When she stepped inside, she looked at me with that familiar sneer, like I was the one causing the problems. "I saw the footage," I said bluntly, holding up my phone with the video on screen. "I saw you signing dirty messages with Jard. You've been lying to my face for months. How could you do this to me?" Her eyes narrowed. "You're crazy, Mike. You're always overreacting. I don't know what you're talking about. You're just jealous because I'm trying to learn something new. Jard's just helping me practice. You're paranoid." I shook my head, my fists clenched. "Don't lie to me. I saw the condom in your purse, Lisa. Don't even pretend anymore. This isn't about trying to learn, asshole. You're screwing the guy. You're cheating on me. How long has this been going on?" She crossed her arms, her bitchy attitude coming out full force. "Oh, come on. You really think I'd cheat on you? You're so insecure. Jard's just a friend, and I was helping him with Ethan's graduation because he's deaf and needs someone who understands sign language. That's it. You're just jealous because I don't want to sit around and be bored all day with your stupid assumptions." I looked at her, feeling my blood boil. Lying, you're trying to turn this around on me, but I know the truth. You've been sneaking around for months. You've been lying to everyone, especially me. I don't know how I ever trusted you." Her face twisted into a sneer. "Trust me, you lost that a long time ago. You don't even know how to talk to me anymore. You're so dull and insecure. Maybe if you weren't such a boring, predictable bastard, I wouldn't have looked for excitement elsewhere." That comment hit me like a punch in the gut. I felt my knees weaken for a second. My wife, the woman I loved, called me boring and predictable. That's when I realized I was wasting my time trying to keep this marriage alive. I felt all the anger, all the hurt, boiling inside me, and I knew I had to do something drastic. I told her to get out of the house and not come back until she figured out what she wanted. I couldn't stand to be in the same room as her anymore. Watching her walk out, that smug, bitchy smile still plastered on her face, I knew I'd never see her the same way again. She was a liar, a cheat, and a manipulator, and I was done. But even as I told myself I was done, a tiny voice inside whispered that this wasn't just about her cheating. It was about me losing myself. I'd spent so long giving her the benefit of the doubt, trying to see the good in her, and now I realized that she'd been tearing us apart with lies and betrayal. That night I sat alone in the dark, replaying everything. I felt like a fool, blindsided by someone I thought I knew. I thought about the future, about whether I could forgive her, whether I even wanted to. At that moment, I understood that sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you just have to walk away, even if it hurts like hell. The days that followed were a blur of confusion, anger, and a strange sense of clarity. I moved out of the bedroom, leaving her to pack her things. It was humiliating, but I couldn't be around her anymore, not with what I knew. Every time I saw her, I felt like I was swallowing bile. She kept trying to spin her lies, acting innocent, acting like I was the crazy one for suspecting her, but I didn't buy it anymore. She was a master manipulator, and I'd been naive to believe her. I started doing some serious thinking about what I wanted next. Part of me wanted to tear everything down, the house, the memories, everything we built. But another part just wanted to get through this as painlessly as possible. I knew I needed to protect myself, emotionally and physically. I contacted a lawyer, started looking into divorce options, and made sure all my financial ducks were in a row. That's when I decided to dig even deeper. I needed proof, more than just the video and her words. I hired a private investigator to follow her. I knew it was a risky move, but I had to be sure about what she was doing when she wasn't trying to hide it in plain sight. Within days, I got the confirmation I needed. She had been meeting Jard regularly, staying out late, and even sneaking off to hotels. They were definitely having sex, probably more than just that, even if I didn't see everything. Hearing that, I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach all over. Again, it wasn't just an affair. It was a full-blown betrayal of everything I believed in. I kept asking myself how I missed the signs, how I could have been so blind. I had loved her, trusted her, and now I realized she'd been manipulating me for months, maybe longer. I also discovered that she'd lied about her feelings, about her intentions. She'd always said she wanted to learn ASL, connect with Ethan, be a better wife. But that was all bullshit. She was just looking for an excuse to get close to Jard, to cheat behind my back. The worst part, she'd spun stories, lied to my face, and made me feel paranoid when I knew damn well she was the one sneaking around. That realization made me feel sick, but it also lit a fire inside me. I knew I couldn't stay silent anymore. I sat her down one last time, told her I knew everything, and demanded the truth. She looked at me with her usual contempt, then finally snapped. "You're just overreacting," she sneered. "You're so insecure, Mike. Honestly, I don't even know why I married you. I was bored and looking for excitement. Jard's just a guy who understands sign language. Sex. Yeah, we've had that, but it's not a big deal." That was the last straw. I told her she could leave, that I wanted nothing more to do with her. I told her I was filing for divorce and that I'd be taking everything, because I deserved better than a manipulative wife cheating on me and lying her way through life. When she finally left the house, I felt a strange mix of relief and devastation. The woman I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone I didn't recognize. Now I'm living alone, trying to piece my life back together. I keep replaying everything in my head, how I was blind, how she lied, how I trusted someone who didn't deserve a second chance. Honestly, I don't know if I'll ever fully get over this. I've lost my sense of security, my trust in people. And yet I know I have to move forward. For now, I just want to heal and learn from this nightmare. My biggest lesson: never ignore the small signs, and never let anyone manipulate you into thinking you're crazy for having instincts. People can hide a lot behind a pretty face and a smile. And sometimes love isn't enough to save a sinking ship. You have to be willing to walk away when the truth hits you hard, because staying might only make it worse. The aftermath hit me harder than I expected. Once she moved out, I thought I'd feel some kind of relief, but honestly, it was just emptiness. I'd lost my partner, my trust, and all the plans I'd had for us. The house felt cold and empty, and every day was a battle to keep my head straight. I threw myself into work, trying to distract myself from the pain, but at night everything came crashing down again. I'd wake up in cold sweats, reliving her betrayal, wondering how I could have been so blind. People kept asking me if I wanted to try and reconcile, if I still loved her. Honestly, I didn't know what I felt anymore: anger, heartbreak, betrayal. I told myself I'd give it some time, see if I could forgive her, but deep down, I knew that trust was shattered beyond repair. The more I thought about it, the more I realized she had played me for a fool. I had been a good husband, a loyal partner, and she had thrown that all away for Jared's sick little game. I also started seeing a therapist. It was the first time I really talked about everything openly, and honestly, it helped a lot. I needed to process the betrayal, the humiliation, and the rage. My therapist said I was justified in feeling hurt, but I also had to focus on rebuilding myself. I started going to the gym, reconnecting with old friends, and even dating a little, though I wasn't looking for anything serious yet, just trying to remind myself that I was still a person, still worth loving. One thing I can say is that I learned a lot from this experience. For one, never ignore the small signs. I knew she was hiding something, but I kept convincing myself it wasn't a big deal. I wish I had trusted my instincts more, pushed her harder to come clean. And trust, it's fragile. Once broken, it's damn near impossible to repair. I realized I had to be more cautious about who I let into my life and what I tolerated. Another thing, never underestimate how a betrayal can shake your core. I used to think I was pretty resilient, but this knocked me down hard. It's a long road to healing, and I know I'll carry some scars for a while. But I also know I won't let this define me. I don't want to be just the guy whose marriage fell apart because his wife was unfaithful. I want to be stronger, smarter, and more careful about who I trust. And finally, I learned that sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to walk away. I could have stayed and tried to fix what was already broken, but I chose to end it because I deserved more than being lied to and cheated on. That's what saved me from sinking completely. So, if there's anyone reading this who's going through something similar, trust your gut. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for suspecting something's wrong. And remember, no matter how much it hurts, there's always a way to start over, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. You're stronger than you think, and sometimes walking away is the best form of self-respect. Now that I've had some time to heal and reflect, I realize just how much this whole experience changed me. I used to be trusting, maybe too much so. I believed in the best in people, especially in Lisa. Believed she was the one I'd spend my life with. But betrayal like that teaches you a hard lesson. Trust is earned, not given blindly. And sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who can hurt you the most. I've come to accept that I was blindsided, but I also understand that it was my choice to stay and take that betrayal, or to walk away and protect myself. I chose the latter. It hurt like hell, but I don't regret it. I've learned to value myself more, to trust my instincts, and to be more cautious about whom I let into my life. No more naivety. No more excuses for bad behavior. Looking back, I see now that her lies were a way of hiding her own dissatisfaction, her need for validation. She was manipulative, yes, but I also see that I let her get away with it for too long because I was comfortable. That's on me too. I won't make that mistake again. I'll be more careful, more guarded, because people can surprise you in the worst ways. To anyone reading this who might be in the same boat, I want you to know it's okay to feel broken for a while. It's okay to be furious, to cry, to want to lash out. But don't forget that you deserve honesty, respect, and loyalty. If someone isn't willing to give you that, cut them loose. You'll survive. Hell, you might even come out stronger. I still miss her sometimes, even after everything. It's a strange feeling, this mix of anger and sadness. But I remind myself that I'm better off without her. I'm better off alone than with someone who manipulates and deceives me. I've started to rebuild my life, piece by piece, and I'm slowly learning to trust again, just a little wiser than before. And I hope anyone else going through something similar finds the strength to do the same. It's brutal, it's humiliating, but it's also necessary. Because in the end, your happiness and self-respect are what matter most. Don't let anyone steal that from you, no matter how much it hurts right now. Life goes on, and somehow, you'll find your way back to being whole again.